So Kurt Angle went on Mark Madden.
I believe, yeah. I mean, he was doing. I thought there was something to that effect where he had a very brief interview or whatnot. Just plugging whenever one of their live events in roster ever they did, or one of the ones in Washington maybe.
It always seems sloppy though. It's always like this. It's WWF is always, people know about it. They know it's happening. They know it's going to be here and when to expect it. TNA comes, we have no idea. It's just they say on the website and they have.
Or we
You can go
do,
to
but they don't promote it in the months in between, and then all of a sudden we look up and it's 10 days later and we haven't bought tickets.
exactly. I mean, it's just
Not that we have to worry about them selling out.
well, Mark Madden. That's another thing. Like his show, it's always hockey, hockey, hockey. They hardly ever have anything different on
Well, I mean,
it.
he's had Jericho on and whatnot.
Yeah,
But I mean, his main thing is hockey
yeah. I wish he'd change it up a little bit.
and football. I mean, but I understand why pro wrestling on a major radio station, it's still a niche market.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
wish somebody do it.
yeah, we do.
Yeah, yeah, we do. Thank God,
But
huh?
I mean, TNA just it really this pay per view price changes. It honestly seems like they're not doing well. It seems like they're pretty much giving in and not trying to compete as much because, and I mean, in some ways they need to because they can't, but it doesn't look good for business.
Well, the big four, Genesis and Lockdown, are gonna be $35. Nothing's changed.
I mean, that's fine, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking about all these seven other ones that they're gonna do. It's like
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's
too
they're
much
going.
maybe.
It's ROH without the internet
Yeah,
aspect. You see what I mean? And the
yeah.
fact is, and ROH doesn't tape theirs 2-3 months in advance. You have an injury. None of these things are going to make any sense.
No. Well, plus two, like maybe instead of doing seven, they should just do three or something like that.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, just something, anything.
Yeah, it just seems like they're doing it kind of, and they really went buck wild with it. Like I like all the styles and formats, but why don't they just make Genesis like one of them?
Yeah, I mean, I like that they're hiring new talent, but is it good talent? I mean, I like the people from Aces and Eights, but some of them are working without a contract. They're just doing it, to do it. And then you're wasting money and time on these gut check people that no one honestly gives a shit about, except maybe, like they announce where they're from. People that go to some indie fed in Chicago that I've never heard of probably care about Jay Bradley. I don't give a damn about him.
Well, the thing is, this gut check doesn't help anybody. Really, kind of makes you look dumb
And it
because
puts
yeah,
what's usually a bad match on your card. This isn't like Ultimate Fighting where two guys are like legitimately fighting for a contract and they need the result to be good and for them to win to continue their career. So they're not gonna, I mean, if something gets screwed up, it gets screwed up. And I made the point to you the other day where if you're wrestling an opponent and you're trying to look good in front of the fans, I mean, yeah, it's common courtesy to put your opponent over and do well on his moves, but what if you're scheduled to lose? What
yeah.
if, you want to look more impressive, so you sandbag his moves. You don't jump. You don't get, you make him deadlift you. Like what if your opponent does the same thing to you? Like, I mean, you can just create a train wreck of a match in your tryout and ruin it for both of you.
You could, and plus, I don't know. Sometimes I think most of these guys are bringing in anyway from Ohio Valley, so they're still kind of under contract anyway. So what
Yeah, I
what
mean,
use is
obviously they know who
yeah?
they are, so it
What
just makes it look bad.
it's pretty useless, and I think it doesn't help anybody. I think it hurts all of them. Christian York gets hurt. Christian York didn't need to be on Gut Check. Just have him
No, he
debut
had
as
the
Christian
talent,
York.
and
Yeah,
enough people knew who he was. And I honestly think they should have brought him in as the tag team. And I'd like that they were throwing him in main event things and the X division, but he hasn't won a damn match.
no. Same with the Briscoe guy. They bring him in. He's a part
Well,
of
he's
this.
doing something. I mean, he was tangentially involved with Angle and whatnot, but he's not
He
really.
didn't need a Gut Check really either. It's just like just say he's
No, he
here and he's
didn't
here.
either.
Why can't someone just debut?
Yeah,
It's just
I
frustrating.
mean, do they not have somebody with a handy cam that can edit and throw together a quick video package and be like, "This guy's coming," or
Yeah.
do like what they did with Sting and just have a backstage interview segment and then have the guy show up if they have talent?
Well, that's like putting when Nigel McGuinness came as Desmond Wolfe in Gut Check. That's embarrassing. He wouldn't need that.
No, he wouldn't. I mean,
And at least they did the right thing with him. They had him debut and go right after Angle.
yeah, and if you're having people that you feel like need to debut in gut check, and you already make it known that you're going to send them down to the minors and not put them on the show, what is the point of having it on TNA?
And
I mean, if we don't feel like they're going to make it, and you don't feel like they're going to make it, but they have hope, don't waste my time on 10 minutes of hope.
yeah,
Give me somebody with talent right now.
then they always say they're part of the main roster, but yeah, when these guys
What,
have been
at open fight night when he fights the other one from
Yeah.
gut check, when Sam Shaw fights the guy they didn't even want that Flair voted yes just to screw them?
when the hell did that guy win? Like March? He didn't come back to what Thanksgiving time,
Yeah.
and then haven't been shown since. They
He got
haven't used
attacked by
any of these
aces and
guys.
eights. They never alluded to any of that, and then he
Yeah.
won a match.
They've never had any of those people on except like twice. It's stupid. If to me they say you're going to be on the active roster, that means next week you wrestle.
And the
It
thing
doesn't
is,
mean
like,
next year.
they have the Explosion pre-show, and I see a bunch of matches on there that I would rather see on TV.
Isn't that a shame?
Yeah, like I see like Crimson Wrestling. I said not that that's great, but it's like I'll see like Daniels wrestle like Joe. It's like I'd rather watch this than whatever you're doing with Joe now.
Get Brooke Hogan off there. I mean,
Get
get
her
her.
off of there completely.
She has no business being on there. I don't
She
care.
had no business in WWE wasting 5 minutes of a wrestling show with her damn music video. They definitely don't need her
It's like I'm sorry you're
front
seeing.
and center.
It's like I'm sorry your singing career didn't pan out, and
But
this
that's
is
because you have no talent, and it doesn't matter who your daddy's friends are.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
you
it's just-
suck, you suck.
don't put other people's careers in jeopardy just to get yourself over. It's
No, and
just
Bruce Pritchard already hates female wrestling enough, and I can kind of understand where he's coming from, and I kind of disagree with parts of it too. But
I see them starting to break out Rob Terry though.
and don't people see though that Brooke Hogan is such a polarizing figure? No one loves Brooke Hogan. Everyone as a wrestling fan hates her.
Yeah, no one's interested.
No, I mean I don't know how they get these artificial crowd reactions and people actually cheer for the stupid wedding. You were cheering for Bully Ray as a heel, and now you've ruined him.
What makes me mad? Like someone that has no business really being in the business, just comes out of nowhere and in 6 months is in like the main storyline. That's ridiculous. When guys been busting their ass there for years and get nothing. This is WCW all over again.
And it's not that they have any wrestling-related talent. That's the biggest problem. It's not like Brock Lesnar showing up and winning the title in 3 months. We were fine with that because it was Lesnar.
Yeah.
But it's a personality that has nothing to do with the in-ring action.
Well, how is Brooke Hogan getting married to Bully Ray for the good of the company? If they can legitimately tell me that,
How are
How's
wedding
she gonna
segments
draw?
in general, without major superstars involved, anywhere near good for the good of the company? They're just a sideshow. They're not. I mean, don't tell me wrestling matters and then go and do crap like this. Drop
Yeah.
that as a slogan because apparently you don't care about it either, and neither does WWE.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I'm
Hogan,
starting to see ROH. If they had better production values, I know they could kill TNA, but
They
don't.
could.
They don't have it, and their booking's even worse because they have Cornette.
yeah, no direction there.
Well, their matches are phenomenal, but their booking is garbage, and they push Jay Lethal when I don't want to see him.
Well, yeah, I mean they're destined to fail because they don't go anywhere.
And this makes TNA less of a global company and more of an indie fed, and that's exactly what we said they shouldn't operate like.
Exactly. It's put up or shut up time, and it's time for Hogan to get out of there.
Yeah,
He's
what
not
are
doing
you-
anything.
$2 million a year can go a long way, and you don't need him
Yeah,
for
I mean,
that.
what has
You
he
can
done for
pay
us? Nothing.
so many more people that amount of money
Hmm
and do a better job.
He talks a good talk, but then nothing comes from it.
No, and then when he's supposed to go talk a good talk, he just
Puts
makes the
himself
subject
over.
all about him,
Yeah,
and everyone wants to talk about what he's did historically. I mean, yeah, granted, that's interesting. He's getting viewers just based on who he is, like when he goes on ESPN and whatnot, but he still works for TNA. He's not supposed to talk about all the stuff that he did in WWE.
yeah.
You're not supposed to give credit to Andre the Giant, Vince McMahon's brainchild, and all that.
It's just frustrating. He always says like for the good of the company, for the it talks about all the good talent and all this stuff. Well, when are you gonna show it, man? Like
And
help
no,
push these guys.
And I don't believe it. I don't buy it for 1 second because everybody and their mother was all over the Ultimate Warrior. And then as soon as he lost the title, he started complaining, oh, you know what, everyone was looking at me leaving that ring and no one was looking at the Warrior. People were cheering for the Warrior more than I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was Warriors
And
night.
the fans, if you did a pulse of the fans, they'd be like, yeah, Hogan was okay, but the Ultimate Warrior is the new thing now. Hogan has been overthrown many a time, and he just tries to take down whoever gets in his face. He had a terrible match with The Undertaker.
Yeah, that didn't live up to expectation, huh?
No, I mean, granted, both of them were out of shape, but it's just like, Hogan, every time you're put on a major stage, you suck.
Yeah, he's just too old. I mean,
They put him in SummerSlam twice. I can understand why Shawn Michaels gave up and refused to put him over, and then I can see why Orton got disgusted with him.
yeah,
You pick him up the RKO, and he falls back over.
that's so bad. Well, I'm trying to think of what else the TNA's done here. Well,
Turning Brutus Magnus into people somebody actually care about, and then he goes off TV for months.
Yeah, why do that?
Attack random people for no reason.
why do that? Why take Bruce Magnus off when he's
They're
hot?
making no impact on the roster. They're going after somebody that's biggest claim to fame was being a one-time tag team champion. Then they're going after Wes Briscoe and, people like Sam Shaw, who right after his gut check match,
Yeah.
what is the... Whoa, you're a big heel. You beat up an indie guy. I'm scared of you now.
Yeah, what's that gonna do? What's that gonna help? Nothing. Well, I mean, I think really with these pay-per-views, I think 4 or even 3 is enough, or even 5. But
Is it though?
I think 5 or 6 would be enough.
Because there's, I mean, honestly, even when they have 12 pay-per-views a year, there's always one or two bright spot matches that I'm like, oh, thank God they had this pay-per-view. I wouldn't have seen this without it.
Well, see, the problem with these taped ones is they're taped. So what they should have did was just cut down to 5 pay-per-views, 6
I don't
pay-per-views.
even have an issue with them being taped. I have an issue with them being taped so far in advance that everything's going to be completely out of context and be old news already.
Everyone knows, so what's the point?
Because what if you bury a guy or fire a guy, and then 3 months down the road you're airing a match with him in it and he wins and it makes no sense? Or then you got to take away a match from the pay-per-view and film something else and make it look like it was at the same time, but we all know damn well it wasn't.
Yeah, there's going to be trouble with this. And I think, too, maybe they should have did, 4 pay-per-views and then 3 of these specials. But I think if they would do them live on Spike, it'd be better. But make it look like it's a pay-per-view. Don't give us the Impact Zone bullshit. Give us a different looking look, different set, different, pay-per-view type theme to it,
I mean, I honestly want to sit down with Dixie Carter and Hulk Hogan and be like, honestly, look, are you guys giving up? Have you had enough? Are you not trying to compete? Because what you're doing now, you've shown me that all the decisions you made are wrong. You're taking Kurt Angle, you're involving him in a waste-of-time faction storyline with aces and eights. That's not where Kurt Angle fits in.
Yeah.
He needs to be feuding with somebody he can have a good match with. Jeff Hardy, Aries, Rude. Put him in the, near the title hunt, or just, you remember when he was doing the top 10 thing, and he was just trying to have 10 great matches before becoming the #1 contender? Do something like that again. That's what he's best suited for. Don't stick him with Samoa Joe and fight 2 guys in leather jackets. It's a waste of my time.
Yeah, it is. And plus, once they unveil it, what's going to
And then you have Van Dam. I mean,
happen?
Great, he's in the X Division. That's wonderful. But he's one of your bigger names, and you're having him open the show, and you're having him barely on it. He was your world champion 2 years ago, and now you don't want to touch the guy. Unless you're going to have him hold the belt until the X pay-per-view, give it up, and then beat the world champion. What are you doing with him?
Yeah, they really screwed up with him, didn't they? Jeez. I remember when he first came, he beat Sting. That was hilarious. And then,
he has
Sting
2
got up.
victories over Sting. Don't forget, he beat Sting when he debuted, and he retained the belt against Sting when Sting had that stupid conspiracy idea and blamed RVD for being Hogan's puppet, which, thank God it wasn't.
I know.
Because heel RVD just doesn't work if it's not ECW.
No. I mean,
it's like they don't try to save money. They spend money. They get into the same problems that ECW did, and they lose money because of it. They made a god-awful video game, wasted millions of dollars on that. They signed the wrong talent. They don't get the wrong arenas. They don't sell tickets. They don't sell good merchandise. They don't have Don West anymore.
I know. They don't,
Like, I mean, you brought up, before you said, does Vince McMahon own TNA, conspiracy theory.
Kind of
There's
wonder.
evidence to the contrary, and there's evidence it's for it, honestly, too, because, I mean, it's like, maybe he is trying to make it look like a comedy act. Maybe he is trying to give you false hope and then making you run back to WWE with a bigger name every time The Rock pops up or something.
You just kind of wonder if he isn't involved in it a little bit or something.
Or, does Hulk Hogan feel that he owes it to McMahon because that's who made him, even because WCW didn't last long enough to be his legacy?
I don't know. It's just such a train wreck sometimes, and it's like, when is it gonna? See, where TNA is at now is where they should have been in 2005.
But if anything, I feel that they've fallen so much further from 2010.
They have, yeah.
With the roster that they have, that.
I mean, even though the roster was old and stuff, it sparked interest. It was a better roster.
Well, it was fresh too. I mean, we had all these people. Anderson didn't suck. Bully Ray was starting to come into his own. RVD we hadn't seen in years, and he was, doing great things. The whole ECW guys that people still care about.
Yeah, TNA really turned for the better in 2010. We're like, wow, it's amazing how bad it sucked last year, and now it's so fresh and
different. And you know what, though? The same thing happened this year over the summer, and then into the fall, and then we get to winter, and it all just falls apart. I know April and March and February are WWE's time. That's their road to WrestleMania. You don't have to try to go up against them head-to-head, but at least offer a good product.
Something.
Because essentially what they've said is, we're going to let WrestleMania run completely unopposed, and the only pay-per-view we're going to show is a $15 one that we taped in January.
Well, that's the problem. WCW did the same thing. Starrcade was their big pay-per-view, but they never let it become even bigger than it should have been. It was always this one pay-per-view. They should have really expanded it, taken it to the stadiums, made it big. No one can do that. And I think TNA, they're doing the Alamo Dome for Lockdown. Why? Do that? Say that for Bound for Glory.
Well, I mean,
If that's your biggest pay-per-view of the year,
They did go to Texas and people loved it though.
yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I look at like it's so different having an MMA promotion and a wrestling promotion because you can make a good MMA promotion just based on the fights that you have and the reputation you have, and occasionally stealing a big name fighter that's had a couple losses. You can't do that in wrestling. I mean, it's harder and harder to get over, and it's not the popular thing right now. Everybody likes mixed martial arts, and it's really tough to compete.
It is.
And, when you make no effort to get the right free agents, when you sign the wrong people, when people get hurt, it's just not, and not enough. The problem is the fans themselves, in general, don't care enough about the matches.
No.
They don't emphasize their matches. They would rather just be entertained and they would rather tune in and see The Rock sing a song than see The Rock fight someone, and that makes me mad.
Well, I think a lot of the fallout of 2001, I think wrestling lost a lot of fans that just didn't come back.
Well, they lost a lot of stars. I mean, as soon as, fuck him, Austin, as soon as he had his neck injury, as soon as The Rock did his movies and everything, yeah, I mean, I admit, this has even happened to me. Taker and Edge quit, HBK quit. I stopped watching WWE completely. I said, listen, Randy Orton, I like you, you're a good wrestler, but I'm not watching the show for you.
There's no one left.
I'm not wasting 10 minutes of even my life just trying to figure out when you're on the show, watching your little match and turning off. You don't matter that much.
No. I just hope TNA in 2013 will look like we'll get like that change up and that feel and that. I mean, these little pay-per-views might help that. I don't know. We'll see.
That and the fact that we always think that TNA is going to get better when WWE gets worse, and it always does right after WrestleMania. But the problem is they always come up with another star from the past and bring them back just enough to get you to care again.
I know.
Just when you think The Rock's at his end, they bring him back. They'll bring back The Undertaker for a match every Mania, even if he's in bad shape, like they say. They'll bring back Jericho, and it's... people get fooled by that, like a good movie trailer, and they'll actually watch it.
I don't know. I'm tired of WWE. I'm tired of them dominating. I'm just tired of it. There's too much of it.
And it's not quality. If they were dominating and it was just the fact that we were sick of the faces and the talent and we wanted to see something else, it'd be okay. And, we'd still tune in eventually because they'd have good matches, but they don't.
No. They don't. I don't know. I just hope it gets better. But paying $45 for Bound for Glory, it's like, geez.
I mean, we'll do it. We're not going to be happy about it, but you better deliver. We better get last year or better. I
want like 10 matches on the card, too.
Yeah, none of this quick thought-out bullshit. No backstage segments. No Anderson at all on the card. It's a waste.
Well, I have to say, like, at least Bound for Glory this past year, 2012, was, like, done good for the build-up, the execution, and afterwards a little bit, too. Like, the whole thing was done right. For the first time. It's like...
Well, I agree to some extent, but here's what I don't get. AJ Styles helped build your company. Where is he?
Yeah, he's just vanished.
I mean, you're giving him all this time off. He's still one of your big names. You put him on this horrible losing streak.
Oh, maybe he's the leader of Aces and Eights.
But again, that's not something new.
Yeah.
And he doesn't fit. He really doesn't.
Well, he's horrible on the mic.
And he doesn't fit. I can't picture AJ Styles riding anything bigger than a tricycle, let alone a motorcycle.
What if it's Undertaker? Oh. What if it is? Hasn't been on TV?
Chris, don't even start. Because RVD is one of those wrestlers that can wrestle anywhere. He started out in the bingo hall. The Undertaker's character needs the lights, the fire, the everything that TNA can't afford.
They'll provide it.
No, they can't, Chris.
His former manager's there.
Do you understand?
Bruce Pritchard's there. He'll bring him in.
Do you understand how sad it would be to see that kind of a name wrestling in front of 700 people in Universal Studios?
I know.
Do you realize how much of a blow to my ego that would be to see my favorite wrestler ever involved in that kind of cheap company?
I know.
As much as I like TNA, there's just certain people that wouldn't fit.
And he's one of them, yeah.
Hulk Hogan? Yeah, I see Hulk Hogan whoring himself out with a bunch of pyro because he's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
You can't... No. Kane can't go there. The Undertaker can't go there. People like that just... It wouldn't look right. Randy Orton would look like he outclassed every single person if he went to TNA. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah. Well...
I think Ray would fit.
Yeah, but he just keeps getting injured. He's on all the roids and drugs.
Well, it doesn't matter. He can go to TNA and be on all the roids and heal up as much as he wants, and then he won't get hurt.
Yeah, so nothing new really. He'll just be out another 6 to 8
He'll
months.
just be allowed to be on roids and be healthy.
Mark Henry syndrome. You're out more than you work.
He keeps getting hurt. They kept saying he was supposed to come back, and I read online
Yeah.
Mark Henry's comeback delayed. I'm like, I don't even
Mark
care.
Henry was hurt from like early 2000 to like 2002. Comes back, gets hurt again, out for most of
Wasn't he hurt from
2003.
1994 until like 2000?
Yeah, he was supposed to be Survivor Series '96. He got hurt before that, didn't even show up. And then like freaking 2003 gets hurt, comes back in '04, then vanishes for like another year and a half. What the hell?
And what I want to know
Horrible.
is, when are people like Anderson's contract up? Can we just get rid of him? Because, I mean, do you really think he's going to go back to WWE and matter? Does anybody remember Mr. Kennedy?
No.
No.
No one
So
will.
you're not losing anything if you let go of Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, no one will really remember him. He's been gone too long.
Or he shows up at the most random times and does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, because he hasn't been in WWE since what, '08?
Yeah.
None of the kids are gonna remember him. If you're a kid and you're like 5 or 6, or not even born
If you're
yet.
12, you're not going to remember
Yeah, you're
Mr.
like, who?
Anderson.
God, where's Barry Horowitz when you need him?
Or, like, I mean, MVP's out there. Why doesn't TNA make a run on MVP? Because he's making more money in Japan.
Yeah, he's not
So-
coming over there.
Or get Albert's tag partner, Anderson. Bring him in.
Yeah,
His former tag partner. Bring Albert in. Do something.
I always say Colt Cabana should come in. It's hilarious.
I gotta be honest. I see him as a middling independent wrestler. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I think he's fun.
I think he's
Him and
funny.
Eric Young would make a funny tag
I
team.
think he's funny. I think he's a contributor. But I mean, if you show me Cole Cabana as a main eventer, I'm walking out of the show. I just don't care.
I'm leaving the promotion.
No, like I mean, it's like if I'm at an indie show and I've gotten my satisfaction worth out of a 2.5 hour show, and Cole Cabana's in the main event against someone else I don't like, I'm going home.
Well, I'm surprised he's not in Aces and Eights because all of his buddies are.
I just don't care. Like he's one of those people. It's like you had your chance. I don't know why you blew it, but you blew it somehow, and you don't get another one.
Well, I think too he's one of the many casualties of the invasion and all that. After all the companies closed down,
Oh,
'cause
absolutely.
he would have been in ECW. I guarantee you.
And then Hogan's tour came a little too late,
Yeah.
and some of the people from his tour died. And some of the people from his tour unfortunately found their way into TNA. Some of them were
'Cause-
great, like RV David. Some of them were Anderson.
Well, but when Hogan's thing toured, like it was like '01. Cabana was still pretty, fresh in the business, I guess. So he wouldn't have been, even
Like, what I want
recommended.
to know is how did Zema Island, who sucked when I saw him in IWC, get to TNA and get an X Division title reign? That blows my mind.
Look how long it took him though. Freaking 10 years almost. I mean, I think he started in 2000 or 2001. I mean, I remember seeing him in
He was
03.
doing pretty well for around here.
Yeah.
He was their IWC champion for a while, and IWC was making big business around here.
Yeah. I don't know. I just hope he leaves. I'm not
Oh, I
interested.
agree.
I don't want to see any Filipino supermodels or any other supermodels again. Rick Martel was enough.
Yeah. Well, that's about it for the state of TNA.
God help us.
I'm Peck.
I'm Chris.
TNA, please get better.